you struggle with your relationship with food and your body? If so, you're not alone. So many women do, and I did for years as well. My name is Rochelle Ludwig, and I'm passionate about empowering women to break the diet binge cycle so they can fall in love with their body and life by changing their rigid thinking and awareness around food. Today I want to talk to you about 5 points that will direct you in the right direction to finally healing your relationship with food and your body. Why food is not the problem and more control is just a bandaid approach. Most women tend to focus on the food when it comes to their struggle with body image and binge or emotional eating. They think if they just had more control, everything would be better. If they just had the willpower, they could follow their rules. But this approach is focusing more on the actions instead of the beliefs under those actions. Food is just a coping mechanism. It's used to numb, distract, and disconnect. More control doesn't help. In fact, more control usually leads to more binge eating because restriction is a trigger, a physiological trigger that increases our hunger and cravings because our body thinks that we're entering a famine and it wants to prevent that. So when we use more control and more diets, we're using an external fix for an internal problem. And this is why it's a Band-Aid approach. And this is why we need to go within. How to increase awareness using mindfulness. Mindfulness is a buzzword these days, but it truly is important when working on healing your relationship with food and your body. It helps us increase our awareness around our triggers, our thought patterns, the stories that we tell ourselves, self-sabotage. And when we're mindful, we're more conscious, and therefore we can create a pause before reaching for food to numb. And when we can create that pause, we're able to make better choices for ourselves. So I like to practice mindfulness throughout the day, but especially during my morning practice because I find it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And mindfulness is simply the ability to be with your experience in the moment in a non-judgmental and depersonalized way. So this just simply means that you don't create stories around the experience that you're having and you don't set expectations. And our breath is one of the best ways to practice mindfulness because our breath is intricately linked with our mind. And we can't necessarily control our mind, but when we control our breath, that can calm the thoughts down in our mind so that we can get more into our body in the present moment. And one of the best ways to do that is practicing deep diaphragmatic breathing. So today I want to teach you deep diaphragmatic breathing. So there's 4 parts to the breath. There's the inhale, the pause at the top of the inhale, the exhale, and then the pause at the bottom of the exhale. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position, or you can lay down on your back if you prefer. You can bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest, and just bring your awareness to your breath. And on your next inhale, fill your abdomen, your ribs, and your chest. Pause at the top, and then exhale, let the air come out of the chest, the ribs, and the belly, drawing it inwards. Pause. Inhale, fill the belly, letting it extend, ribs, chest. Pause. Exhale, release the air from the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Pause. Inhale, fill the belly, ribs, chest. Exhale from the chest, ribs, belly. Keep doing that a few times on your own. So you can do this 10, 20, however many times you need until you feel connected into your body. How to reconnect to your body and listen to your intuition. Our intuition is a lot quieter than the thoughts in our mind, and you may have noticed in the past that you received an intuitive hunch, but then right away your mind jumped in and your thoughts started to try to rationalize everything, and you lost that connection to your intuition. One of my spiritual teachers taught me a simple yes-no practice that you can use to get more in tune with your intuition. So first, it's important to do something to get you into your body, reconnected. This could be yoga, it could be dance, meditation, walking in nature, breath work, anything that you feel reconnects you to your body. Once you've done that, then you can find a comfortable, quiet place to sit. And you're going to ask yourself definite yes and definite no questions. So for example, I could ask myself 4 definite yes questions. Is my name Rochelle? Am I a female? Am I a yoga teacher? And I would notice the sensations I feel in my body. Maybe I feel a lightness and an expansiveness. Next, I would ask myself definite no questions. So I could ask myself, are my eyes blue? Am I from England? Do I like scary movies? And then notice again what I sense in my body. Maybe I feel a constriction and a tightness and a heaviness. So as we practice this yes-no practice, over time, we start to notice these intuitive messages more and more as we need to make decisions in our life. And this is especially helpful when we start to work on eating intuitively and moving our bodies intuitively so that we can get away from the control and diet mentality. Our body always knows before our mind does. Why we use food to cope and why learning how to feel our emotions will help. Growing up, many of us received messages that it's not appropriate to express our emotions. Maybe we were told that good girls don't cry, or that when a woman expresses anger, well, that she's not a very nice person. Or maybe the expression of emotions was modeled to us in an unhealthy manner. For example, maybe anger was modeled as aggression. So for many of us, we push our emotions down, and to do that, we use food to numb and distract. So it's really important to learn how to properly feel and express our emotions. One way we can do this is by actually throwing ourselves a pity party, by setting a timer for 20 minutes and just letting ourselves feel and express exactly what we need to. Maybe we need to cry, maybe we need to scream or punch a pillow, whatever it is. We do it on our own in privacy, in a healthy manner, and release that emotion. Another important aspect of this is that we feel the emotion in our body. When we feel it in our head or attached to it in our mind, what happens is our mind dwells on it, it creates stories, and that just creates more pain and suffering for us. But when we can really truly feel it in our body, we can process it that much quicker. So to do this, you can really just ask yourself where you're noticing that sadness in your body, where you feel that anger in your body or that pain. And once we're able to learn how to feel and express our emotions in a healthy manner, we'll no longer need food as a coping mechanism. Why it's important to look at our belief systems and update them. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, our beliefs create our actions. So if we want to change our actions, we need to look at the belief systems behind the action and update it. We can use cognitive restructuring exercises to do this and challenge our rigid black and white thinking. A simple one would be looking at the main thought behind the action. For example, maybe we're trying to eat intuitively, but we find ourselves continuing to go back to calorie counting and following different diets because we don't feel like we can ever really trust our body. So your main thought is, I will never be able to trust my body. Then you would write an affirmation after that thought, something you believe. I've never actually had the tools to learn how to trust my body, so perhaps with some practice I can. Then you would refute that affirmation. So what yeah but comes up for you? For example, I always feel stuck in this cycle though. I do good for so long and then I fall back into binge eating. Next, write another affirmation. I have always had strict rules though, and maybe if I let go of those rules and really learn how to listen to my body, I won't binge eat anymore. Next, yeah, but it feels impossible and I'm scared I'll gain weight if I release control. Next affirmation. I've never had support before, and if someone else can do it, why can't I? And you continue this until you reach the final affirmation that you fully believe. And the more you do this, the more this helps shift that belief, because you can see that it's actually distorted and that it doesn't serve you anymore. Inner child work so you can reparent the child inside of you. We all have an inner child who, if we ignore, will sabotage us. Many of us are so disconnected from her in the first place. What she needs is to be loved, to play, to have fun, and to feel safe. Our inner child didn't get everything she needed in childhood from our parents, family members, friends, and now our adult self gets to provide that for her and to take care of her. When food becomes loud, often an old belief system has been triggered. And our belief systems are created in childhood. So when an old belief system is triggered, it's often because our inner child isn't getting what she needs. We can start to connect to our inner child in many different ways, including meditation, visualization, and play. It can also be helpful to find a picture of yourself at 10 years old or younger and to write a letter to that little girl. Of course, if you experienced any sort of trauma in your childhood, it's really important to seek help from a therapist. So today I am gifting you a 30-minute slow flow yoga video to help you calm your mind and connect back into your body so you can start this work of healing your relationship with food and your body.